Hi everyone and welcome. My name is Anitta and on behalf of India Fest, I would like to invite you to this video for Independence Day. Every year, India Fest brings our community together to celebrate the rich culture, traditions and diversity of India. This year in particular is special for us as it falls on India's Independence Day, a day that we celebrate the sacrifice, courage and resilience of those who have shaped our nation's history. And with that in mind, I couldn't think of two more fitting guests to invite with me today. I'm honored here to be sitting down with two remarkable individuals who have dedicated their lives for service, both serving in the Indian military before continuing their journeys of service as doctors here in Australia. Dr. 𝐷𝐻𝐢𝐚 and Amritpal Singh, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Anita. Thanks for having us.
All right. Let's start right at the beginning. So tell us about yourselves and your journey that brought you here in Australia.
Would you like me to start?
Yes, please.
Thank you. So, obviously born in India, Indian by birth, in the year 1970. I'm not sure whether you want all that information, but I'm giving it anyway. All right. We were brought up in a time when India had gotten independence for barely 23 years by the time
Wow.
I was born.
Are you saying your age now as well?
Sorry?
You're saying your age as well?
Yes, I am indeed. And what's more is that came at a time when, the British had left, but, there was still this lingering sense of, the fact that the British was still around.
Yeah.
So that sense of nation had only, was there only in name, and it was still sort of developing.
Yeah.
And India in the 70s was quite what we used to call license Raj, where everything was very rationed, and the things weren't as open. It wasn't an open market system.
Yeah.
And then even with alignment of military interests, we were with Russia, and then it was a bipolar kind of world with the US and the Russia at loggerheads with each other.
Yeah.
So in many ways, India being as large as it was even then, with the population that it had, did not quite, was not quite as prominent as it is today. So
Yeah.
that's the background in which we grew up. But life was much simpler.
Yeah.
The 70s were a much simpler life. So I joined the Armed Forces Medical College, which is where I did my training.
Yeah.
And then I joined the Armed Forces,
Yeah.
where I served for 16 years.
That's really good. And for you, Dr. Amrit?
For me, I was born in India and I did my medical college at Amritsar. Then after finishing my MBBS, I served first at the military hospital in Amritsar. Then I joined the paramilitary forces for a few years.
Yeah.
And then I decided to go overseas.
Yeah.
So here I am.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So Dr. Amrit, what made you go into the defense? Like, why did you join the army, the paramilitary?
There is a bit of a family background.
Yeah.
There are relatives which were part of the army.
Yeah.
While I was doing my medicine, I lived with one of my relatives who was a lieutenant colonel.
Yeah.
I like the lifestyle.
Yeah.
Then there was a bit of pride in joining the armed forces.
Yeah.
There was a bit of nationalism. So I wanted to serve. That's why I joined
That's really good.
the paramilitary.
Yeah. And you, Dr. 𝐻𝐢𝐚?
I couldn't put it any more succinctly as he had. And, definitely that sense of nationalism and the pride that we took in the military, was quite prominent in those days and continues to this day,
Yeah.
which I find, quite an Indian trait, although I'm sure it reflects, it shows up in other, nations as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what would you say people would find surprising about the Indian Army? Like,
One, it's massive. I could be wrong, but I think it's at least the fourth largest army or armed forces
Yeah.
in sheer numbers.
yeah.
And obviously its capability also is quite high up there. So it's the other thing is the nation in itself comes together in times of crisis. It acknowledges the army, and it's quite a prominent part of life.
Yes.
So you would see a military person front and center, even in civilian life. So they're quite visible.
Yes.
And for the most part, they're quite welcome.
Yeah.
And because of India's unique geography and the external threats that we face, the armed forces also plays a very important role in internal security duties as well as in times of national crises or disasters. So the armed forces are held in high regard, regardless of whether it's Army, Navy, Air Force, and paramilitary,
Yeah.
all of which really are different manifestations of the same kind of people
Yeah.
doing very similar jobs.
Yeah. Would you say anything differently or?
No, I
Yeah.
think he's perfectly
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
We all work for the same cause, the same country,
Yes. Yeah.
and we want the same outcome: national unity and safety for everyone living inside the country.
Yeah. And so, what would you say is one thing you miss about your army career? Your
What would you say?
I miss the exercise.
That's right. I'll set up an obstacle course for you.
I think the camaraderie which you had with people, regardless of what their rank was,
Yes.
the fact that you really worked as one unit towards one specific goal. Don't get me wrong. I mean, not everything in the army is perfect.
Yeah.
No organization is. But it has this unique ability of getting people from a variety of backgrounds, putting in through the mill and spitting out a product that has a standard that always stands out.
Yeah.
You can spot a person who's been in the military in a room of 1,000 people because of the way they carry themselves.
Yeah.
And this is not about some perceived sense of superiority, not at all. It's just how how we are trained.
Yes.
How we are trained to value us and the people around us. I think, that would be it.
That's very good.
That's what I miss.
That's very nice. Yeah. So, looking back, what's the biggest lesson you've learned from the army that makes you guys such good doctors today?
Well, looking for my men when we were in the field was very challenging, and you had to do with a lot less what you have got here in the field. So yes, you need to learn to improvise.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And that's a skill you're always going to have, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. And for you, Dr.
Yeah,
J?
it was fairly harsh, the conditions that both of us worked in various terrains, whether it be high altitude or even the jungles of northeast of India. You had to improvise. The equipment wasn't that great back then, but most importantly, you also, were humbled by the loyalty that your men showed you, but you also were taught by your seniors that you had to lead by example.
Yes.
And that has stood us in good stead.
Yeah.
You can't just be a senior and bark orders and expect things to get done.
Yes.
And that has stood us in good stead in civilian life, because here you can't bark orders at anybody.
Yes.
But if you show them and lead by example, well, people will follow.
Yeah. It's a good way to learn how to be a leader. Then, yes.
But also a follower. And the army taught us that.
Yes.
You might be a leader once, but if you're a platoon commander, if you went to your adjutant, he was the leader, you were the follower then.
Yeah.
Or your CEO for that instance, so
Yeah.
for that matter.
Yeah. And why do you think events like India Fest is good for our community here, for the younger generation that's coming along?
Well, they need to realize where we come from.
Yes.
What's our background? Yes, we are all Indians, but they need to realize what different languages we have, what different culture we had, and they need to, if not 100%, they need to follow it to some extent. We have got great values in our culture. We've got great customs. We've got unity and diversity back home.
Yeah.
I probably need to follow the same thing here.
Yeah. Very good.
I agree with Dr. Amrit. In many ways, Australia being such a multicultural, society, we are all sort of ambassadors for the countries that we originate from. So it's good to inform the wider community, but also instill that sense of belonging and imbue that sense of loyalty to country and their origins.
Yeah.
I think India Fest does serve that purpose quite well.
Yeah. Yeah. You feel proud when you go to India Fest and you see the community that comes together and joins us, really.
But the greatest stalwart is your dad,
Yeah.
Mr. Biju. Who can forget what Mr. Biju has done for India Fest over the years? So, you talked about loyalty, patriotism. I would definitely put him high up there.
Yeah. I'm cutting that part out. So, just to finish off, what would you say to the generation that grows up in Australia as Indians, for the younger generations that come here as students all by themselves, they are growing up here? What's your message to them?
Yeah, I'll just tell them, don't forget your roots.
Yeah.
Stay attached to your country. And yes, you have to be loyal to Australia. Yes, you have to follow the culture here. But yes, you have to be aware of where you came from.
Yes.
Yeah, I could definitely put it any better. Absolutely. Yeah, acknowledging your past and looking to the future, whilst taking everything in your stride. It's that balance which is harder for the first generation and gets easier, and should not be lost by the third generation. That's what Dr. Amrit is saying. Unless you keep celebrating these things like India Fest, like Diwali, like Ganpati, or all of these things, it'll get lost in no time at all.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for coming today and spending your time making this video with me.
Thank you for having us.
Cheers.
I'm sure the audience have learned a lot and have found some sort of inspiration from these two gentlemen. And I hope everyone enjoys Independence Day and India Fest on the 15th of August. Independence Day is very special for all Indians. So I wonder, for you guys who worn the uniform, would you say anything, like, how would you describe Independence Day for you guys?
It's a matter of pride.
Yeah.
The day is very special. It's a manifestation of thousands of people's hard work, their struggle for independence. So it's a very proud day. Armed forces have their own tradition of celebrating it, which is just celebrating the nationalism, celebrating the unity in diversity, which is very much a part of the Indian Armed Forces. We all come from different parts of the country, and we all celebrate the same thing, which is very nice. I used to love participating in those events. I'll just ask Dr. Jay to add on that.
Thank you. I think patriotism, I don't think as military people we have a monopoly on that. I think patriotism manifests in different ways. I think the common man on the street doing his job well is as patriotic as anyone wearing the uniform. So yes, to some extent we do wear it on our sleeves, and I think nationalism and patriotism are definitely two attributes that every person, regardless of what country they live in, should take pride in. And not always wear it on its sleeve, but it should be sometimes be visible. And the fact that we have this wonderful day called Independence Day, where everybody comes together as one, there's no controversy about it, it is unique. And that's what makes it special. I think that's what makes the Indian Independence Day very special. Yeah. That actually brings me to my next question. It's like you've looked at my questions. So what does patriotism look like for you today? Living in Australia, being Indian, how would you describe it in your day-to-day life? One of the things we were schooled in is being loyal to the place that we serve. All right. We are Indians. We are proud of our heritage, but we are also extremely proud Australians. And in that sense, my loyalty is towards Australia a bit more than it is to India, because this is where I live. And I mean, loyalty, it doesn't necessarily mean if you were to go to war, I would participate as an officer. I would love to. I hope that time never comes. But, the whole idea of defense is to be prepared. So for me, doing your work and discharging your duties in a manner that it helps the community and distilling some of the values that you have sort of gathered over the years and passing it on to the next generation is I think a very important part of being patriotic and loyal to your country.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that I'm very keen on doing, and I keep doing. And as we get older, we give unsolicited advice, and I keep giving this unsolicited advice to people.
Yeah.
But for me, patriotism or loyalty means something as simple as not buying, say, an expensive Chinese product.
Yeah.
So if it's going to be inimical to Australia's economy,
Yeah.
well, I won't do it.
Yes.
It's a small, thing to do, but it does manifest in different ways.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that. It's very good. And how about for you? How would you?
Oh, look, I love my adopted country.
Yeah.
When we were in the armed forces, they said, "Oh, you can take the man out of the army, but you cannot take the army out of the man."
Yeah.
So I'll say the same thing about my being an Indian. I'm out of India, but at heart, I'm still an Indian. That does not diminish my feelings for Australia. It's helped me. I've grown here. My kids have grown here. So it's a beautiful country. I love it. But still, I'm an Indian at heart.
Yeah. Can't take it out of you, can you?
No, the Indian will not get out of me
No.
ever. My kids, they're a different story. They were born here.
Yeah.
So they've lived their life here. So they are Australians in true sense. I am kind of a torn between two cultures, but I'm still Indian at heart.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Nicely put.
and would you say that patriotism is misunderstood? The word patriotism, would you say could be misunderstood today?
It could be. It might just, some people might interpret it as just taking up arms when there's a war.
Yeah.
And then when everything is hunky-dory, don't do anything about it.
Yeah.
I think it's the small things. That's the reason I said it's the small things you do. A teacher who teaches and molds generations of students and makes them into people worthy of leading the nation into the next generation is as patriotic as a soldier wearing a uniform and fighting a war.
Yeah.
It just manifests in different ways.
Yeah.
So sometimes it is possibly misunderstood for just the action of joining the army or wearing the uniform. I think every person, no matter how humble their profession, is as patriotic. But it needs to come out at certain times. And I think Independence Day is a great date for people to vocalize what they manifest in their day-to-day lives.
Yeah, yeah. Very good. Yeah.
So for me, patriotism is putting the country first and everything else after that. And pretty much if you do that, there's no controversy regarding anything else.
Yeah, it's very good. And what would you say is your proudest moment from your military career? And I want something different from both of you guys.
My proudest moment was the day I wore the uniform for the first time.
Yeah.
That was a different feeling of pride and feeling of an achievement. I was very happy that day.
It's very beautiful.
I think I have to agree with Dr. Amrit. The day we were commissioned, which was the 4th of December, 1992, when, my parents were there also to witness the entire event. I think that was a very proud moment for me. But then I'm sure there were others, but I can't think of anything that really stands out now.
Yeah. There's always just that one moment that you always remember.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.